So, as you can plainly see, I'm wearing the coolest Jurassic Park shirt there is. So it's time to talk about Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Now, the first thing you must know is I am a huge fan of Jurassic Park, the original, a childhood classic that still holds up to this day in my mind. This was a film that inspired awe in me. I watched it with wet eyes and open mouth, and still to this day I get chills at the big moments in that movie. And with that being said, I did not care for this new one at all. Now, I will keep this spoiler free as long as I can, but I will say I have to talk about some specific plot elements at some point in this review because a lot of my gripes come from that. The dinosaurs that inspired me so much from the original movie, they're gone. They're not animals. They're not these beautiful creatures anymore. They're sideshow monsters and act like slashers in a horror movie half the time. The plot in this one is just so ridiculous. It picks up what should have been a dead plot thread from Jurassic World, where they're trying to breed dinosaurs to militarize them to use in modern warfare. It was stupid back in 2015. It's still stupid in this one. The original film had this very interesting idea that we could bring dinosaurs back from extinction by engineering their DNA with amphibians in our own time. That was an interesting idea, and despite me not really liking Jurassic World, I do think that was the natural next step. That, hey, we combined dinosaur DNA with frog DNA, and we got what the original movie had. Who's to say we can't combine it with a million other different genetic codes to make other theme park monsters? So I actually thought that was a natural progression. But I just think the whole militarizing dinosaur thing is so erroneous, so extraneous. It's just so unnecessary, and it turns this franchise into just B-movie schlock. Not that it hasn't been there before. I think Jurassic Park 3 already did that, and I thought Jurassic World might have course-corrected a little bit, but now here we are again. It's the lowest it's been, and it just breaks my heart because, like I said, the first one was such a big deal to me, so important to me, and now it's just kind of trash in my opinion. The characters range from bland to just downright annoying. There's a couple teenage characters that are supposed to be comic relief. They're obnoxious. There's a little girl, a little child actress. I'm sure she's a sweet little girl, but she's a terrible actress. I'm sorry. I just cringed every time she was on the screen. It's a far cry from Lex and Tim in the original Jurassic Park. And it felt like this movie, it's like, hey, we need a kid, right? Because the first one had a kid. Everyone liked those two kids, right? So let's have this kid in there. And she's just the worst. It's not all negatives. There was a couple positives for me. I really appreciated that they used a practical special effect for Blue, the raptor, at one point. I kind of had to squint, rub my eyes, because I couldn't quite believe what I was seeing after Jurassic World neglected to use any at all, except for the brief Apatosaurus head. So that was really nice, and it was really well done, actually. They maybe used a big old practical T-Rex head. I'm not sure. I'll have to see it again, but I probably won't. But yeah, that was a nice touch. Another positive of mine could have been more. It had the potential to be my favorite part of the movie. But the whole volcano blowing up on the island thing, I really liked. I wish that had been the whole movie, because that would have added a nice ticking clock element that would have propelled the plot and would have made it infinitely more exciting than it ended up being. But no, that's a small fraction of the movie, unfortunately. But I think that would have been really cool to see. I thought the opening was pretty cool. The first 5-10 minutes was pretty exciting, I guess. And listen, I really love monster movies. If this wasn't Jurassic something, Just name something else if they didn't call them dinosaurs, that I would love this movie. It's just chock full of creatures, and it's pretty cool. But I just have this misty-eyed feeling when I think about Jurassic Park and the dinosaurs in those movies, that this just trampled all over. And what hurt more was they just shoehorned in, shoved in all sorts of little cheap callbacks to the original movie. Like, hey, no, this is awful, but hey, remember the first one? Remember how much you liked that one? Huh? We have it in here. And it just felt cheap, and I felt personally insulted. But, whatever. You got to go into it with the mindset that you're watching Jurassic Park 3 and not the original Jurassic Park. I had high hopes. I've had 2 weeks of preparing for this movie by watching the rest of the franchise, playing the new game that's come out that I just love. I was just in such a mood to see a Jurassic Park type thing that just made my heart swell and me crack a huge smile and maybe raise some hairs on my neck. It didn't do any of that. I was extremely disappointed. I would say maybe like a 55%. So not quite a complete tank, because you can enjoy it. Pretty much everyone else I saw it with in my theater liked it a lot, and they explained to me that it was just a lot of fun seeing all the dinosaurs. And I get it. They're cool creatures, but just was not what I was expecting or hoping for. So now I just want to get into spoiler territory for a little bit here. Just explain a couple specific gripes I have regarding the plot and characters. Firstly, I mentioned that the dinosaurs aren't these beautiful animals anymore. They're just stock horror villains. And at the forefront of that is the main dino villain of this one, called the Indoraptor. It's basically a smaller Indominus Rex. And once again, they go to great lengths to tell us that this is an unstoppable killing machine, just the smartest, advanced senses. And then it gets out, and it's a bumbling idiot. It can't catch our main characters when they're right in front of him. He literally has them pinned at a point, could just kill him in a second. But then the little girl starts running away, and it diverts all of his attention to this little girl, and he relentlessly chases after her, unsuccessfully. And I'm just sitting here thinking the whole time about this militarize the dinosaurs thing that they still maintain is a good idea, and then this thing is just the worst. I didn't understand it in Jurassic World when they were like, it's the smartest dinosaur there is. It'll kill anything it comes in contact with. And I'm thinking, why does that make it the smartest dinosaur? That sounds kind of stupid, actually. Wouldn't you want something that would tactically, strategically take out things, not just mindlessly murder everything? I didn't get it then, and they doubled down on it in this one, and it's just even dumber. And what makes it even worse is the entire, at least second half of the movie takes place in some old dude's mansion. It's a Jurassic Park movie, Jurassic World, that the main climax, half the film takes place in just a house. So this thing's literally just stalking these people around the hallways and bedrooms, and even has this little moment, it's in the trailer, where he creeps up on the girl and just has his claws like dangling in front of her. Like, what are you doing? If you're trying to kill these people, it was like a villain monologuing. You wonder why. Just kill the person. Why are you monologuing? And this thing constantly does it. It's like, what good is this thing gonna be in a war? It's so dumb, and it gets taken out even more easily than the Indominus Rex. And I was just constantly questioning why. Why is this the plot of the movie? And going more off of the whole second half of the movie taking place in a house, that was just the most disappointing thing. They have these trailers feature this volcanic island exploding, and all the dinosaurs run away from the explosion. It's the coolest image. And then you go to the movie, it takes 20 minutes to get back on the island. and they spend maybe 20 minutes there, and then it's back to the mainland, and we get to watch black market dealings to like warlords and 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 stuff like that, different dinosaurs. It's just the most absurd thing. Not scary at all, not thrilling. Can't be thrilling because I was just constantly dumbfounded by what I was watching. And maybe that goes into going in with a different mindset. Because, like I said, everyone else seemed to enjoy it, but I was just face palming for the entire second half of the movie. One moment that had my jaw on the floor in kind of shock was when the Indoraptor escapes. Basically, this military guy who's been collecting dinosaur teeth sees this thing as an opportunity because it's all alone at this point. Everyone's freaked out and ran off. He tranks it, or he thinks he tranks it, and opens the cage, walks in, and is trying to remove a tooth. But then the dinosaur's tail moves, and he kind of looks away, and then the dinosaur, the Indoraptor, leans up a little bit, opens his eyes. I swear, maybe I need to rewatch it, but I swear he looks right at the camera. A little smirk comes on his big dinosaur face, and then he plops back down and keeps pretending to be tranked. And then he kills the dude a second later. But what is that in my Jurassic Park movie? It was on par with the talking raptor in Jurassic Park 3 in that dream sequence. But at least that was a dream sequence. This thing's conscious, wary of the audience watching him in the theater, is shooting him a little smile. It's just the dumbest thing. And I know there's a third film coming down the pipeline, and it's clear from the end of this one they're trying to Planet of the Apes it. All the dinosaurs get out at the end, run out into the wilderness in mainland North America someplace. A raptor roars with a suburban neighborhood in the background. But then after the credits, there's a little bit of an extra treat. There's pterodactyls in Vegas. Wow, that's going to be so cool. Oh well, in any case, we have the first one to watch over and over again instead of all of these. I really think I'm being kind of a sourpuss about this whole thing, but I can't help it. That's how I feel about it. Let me know what you think, and that's it for me. Bye.